Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. In this video, I'm going to be ranking the guns for you guys. I'm going to be doing it according to usefulness and effectiveness and time to kill. The S tier will be the highest tier and the E tier will be the lowest tier. So it's going to be in that order. Let's start out by putting the grenade launcher into the S tier. As you all know, the grenade launcher, it's a two-shot kill all the time. No matter what level armor or what you're wearing, it's a two-shot kill. It's literally the most broken gun in Metro right now, for sure. Low levels use it just to get easy kills on level 6s. Next up, we got the DBS Refined. We'll place that in the B tier. It's good at what it does, and what it does is just annihilate people at close range. We'll do the same thing with the S12K because they're pretty similar in that sense. Next up is the DP28. It's good in classics, but it's only intact in Metro. If it had that refined capability, then maybe it'd be higher up on the list, but for right now, it's going to be in the E tier. Next up is the M249. Gonna put that in the C tier. The reason it's in the C tier, and the only reason it's in the C tier, is because of the mag size. Otherwise, it'd be probably down the D tier. Now, these next two shotguns are both going to go down the E tier, the S686 intact and the S1897 intact. The only reason they're down here is because they're both intact, and compared to their higher standing ones, which are the S12K and the DBS, they're just a way better option for you guys. The QBU improved will also be going down the E tier. It's just a bad option compared to some of the other DMRs that you'll see later on. That brings us to the MK14, which is going to be in the A tier. The MK14 is going to be in the A tier because of the damage it does per bullet and because of how good it is close range and long range. Not only that, but it also kills bots, bosses, and dogs quicker than most other guns will do. Next up is going to be the SLR, which is going to be in the B tier. The reason it's in the B tier is because of the power of the bullet, which is going to be greater than the MK and the SKS, and also the rate of fire on it is going to be more than the SKS. Which then brings me to the SKS, which will be in the C tier. The reason it's in the C tier is because of the rate of fire, and the power of the bullet is going to be less than the SLR, so it just makes more sense to have it below the SLR in this tier list. We got the VSS next. The only reason it's going to be in the D tier is because of the silent bullets. If it didn't have that, it'd be down the E tier with other guns of its kind, which is going to be the intacts and the improves and all that. This one's going to have you guys wondering what's wrong with me. The MK12 is going to go straight into the A tier. The reason it's going to be in the A tier is because the bullet power on an MK12 is going to be 25% more than the MK14, which, to take that into perspective, is going to be like saying an A-dub bullet is 100, MK12 would be 75, and the MK14 would be 50. And it's also the highest rate of fire and the most powerful DMR there is in the game. The only reason I believe that people don't use it yet is because you have to tap fire it, just like any other DMR besides the MK14. Next up, we got the Mini 14 improved, which will go down the E tier. Don't have much to say about this gun because it is just improved, so not a lot of people use it, and I don't recommend using it. Next up is going to be the Win 94. I wish they did something more with this gun because I feel like it'd be a fun gun to use, but for now it's just going to be down the E tier because really there's no reason to use it. Now on to the M24. It's going to be going up in the C tier. The reason it's going to be in the C tier is because of the damage output it has. It has really high damage output because it is just a sniper rifle. But that being said, it being a sniper rifle means you're going to have to rock another close range gun. Next up, the Kar 98 improved, another gun that I don't understand why they didn't just do more with it, make it into a refined. It would have been more useful. But for now, it's going to be down the E tier with the rest of them. Now onto the Headhunter itself, the AWM Refined. we're going to throw that right into the B tier. And the reason it's going to be in the B tier is because the freakish amounts of damage it has per shot. The only reason it's not in the A tier is because it's strictly a long range gun. I don't see anybody trying to no-scope people in Metro Royale close range. It just doesn't happen like that. Next up is going to be the MP5K Refined. I'm going to throw that in the B tier. The reason it's going to be in the B tier is because it's really good close range, but it's also good mid range. And the reason that is just because of all the attachments you can throw on it. It makes it so much smoother. This next SMG, the PP19 Bison, will be going straight into the E tier. It's just not a good gun compared to the other SMG. Same with the Tommy Improved. It's just a lower grade gun. Same with the P90 Improved. They're just not refined and they don't do as much damage as the MP5K. Next up is the Uzi Improved, which will be going into the D slot. The only reason it's in the D slot is because of the rate of fire on it. The rate of fire is just so high where it makes up for the damage being way less. Next up, arguably the best SMG out of this group, the Vector Refined, will be going straight into the A slot. The only reason it's in the A slot is because of the damage per second it does close range and how good it is also mid to long range. Next up, another SMG I wish they would have done more with, the UMP. It's just my favorite classic gun, but my least favorite Metro gun. Next up, the G36 Refined. That's going to be going up into the C tier. The reason it's in the C tier is because it's got that attachment slot that has a grenade launcher you could attach to it, and it also keeps pretty steady recoil. Now on to the QBZ Refined. That's going to be going into the D tier. The reason it's lower than the G36C is because the recoil, once you put that attachment on there, it's going to be a lot more than the G36 would. Now on to a gun that only serves one purpose in Metro, the MK47 Improved. The only purpose it would serve would be for a nade launcher, so we're just going to skip that and put that in the E tier. Now on to the M762 Refined. That's going to be going straight into the C tier. The reason it's in the C tier is because it's got that spot for a nade launcher, and also it's just really good close range. Next up is going to be the AUG A3 Refined. It's going to be joining the G36 in the C tier. The reason it's in the C tier is because it still has steady recoil even with the grenade launcher attachment on it. Next up, the Groza Refined. That's going to be going up in the B category. The reason it's going in the B category is because it's a monster at close range, but what it lacks is distance. The AKM Refined is up next, and that's going to be going C tier. The reason it's in C tier is because it's just like the Groza, but it's not as good as the Groza per damage. Up next, the M16A Improved. Wish they just deleted off Metro because it's useless. The Scar L Refined is next. That's going to be going right next to the QBZ Refined into the slot D. The reason it's in slot D is just because once you put the nade launcher on it, it's not going to have as steady recoil as something along the lines of an AUG. And last up, the M416 Refined. That's going to be going all the way up to the B tier. The reason it's in the B tier is because once you put that nade launcher on there, it's still going to be just as steady without one, and because it's just overall the best 5.56 AR there is in the game for Metro right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to be doing a giveaway for any gun you guys want. The winner will be selected down in the comment section below.